So I'm researching the 9 different ways that you can learn tattooing. There's so many different methods. This is the whole breakdown of the different options, which might be a good path for you, which might not be a good path for you, pros and cons. We got general outcomes, how each one of them work, and what the cost is. There's a literal cost and then a hidden cost to like each one of them. So I'm going to break down the lengths of the apprenticeships, all the different versions, and ultimately to help you find what is the best choice for you. And I'm going to make it real clear and simple. Let's dive in. For anyone who wants to have a good apprenticeship experience that helps them get farther along in their career faster, that wants to learn efficiently without gaps in their apprenticeship, have ongoing support with their mentor, continue to have a good relationship with their mentor, feel supported during their apprenticeship and beyond, and have the systems and structures in place so you can continue to utilize, memorize, strategize all the different ways to go as you move forward. Things become clear the longer you really understand them. So something that I found in my apprenticeship was that I was trying to be like the biggest sponge possible so I could learn and retain all the information as fast as possible and as efficiently as possible, and take notes and things like that. But ultimately it's just like listening and getting the content or the lessons in your brain or through muscle memory or repetition. But if the way I learn better and why I kind of teach the way I do is because I found that there were a lot of times that I didn't fully get something, didn't feel like I could ask about it, and needed a concept to be repeated so I could fully understand it better. So being able to practice with your mentor's eyeballs on you while you are practicing tattooing, so valuable. So just having an online only tattoo apprenticeship is gonna give you gaps. Having only a in-person apprenticeship can give you gaps. And there, of course, can be gaps in any kind of education, and it can be up to us to figure out what those gaps are and to like go deeper into our own education and learn in the areas that we feel most inspired to continue to learn in, right? But ultimately, my goal is to teach in the most efficient, clean way as possible and help you get the results in the most efficient way so you can start your career, so you can start tattooing the kinds of clients you want to in the style you want to be tattooing in, and you don't have to waste time jumping through hoops that other people set for you. That's just not necessary anymore. And the only thing I feel like is like the biggest thing to be most cautious of is fully self-education, like self-learning, claiming that the self-taught artist thing, like as a tattooer, it doesn't really fly that well. You're gonna need to really understand bloodborne pathogens, and that's the thing I think I noticed the most is that tattooers, even who had fairly good educations or good apprenticeships or were self-taught or were taught by other artists in their studio or things like this, really so many artists are lacking that full understanding of bloodborne pathogen control and how to have like better than hospital hygiene in their tattoos. And as a shop owner for so many years and hosting so many guest artists, I was like shocked by how many artists don't fully understand this and are cross-contaminating all over the place. And I would like, oh yeah, I gotta go clean that, I gotta go clean that, I gotta go clean that. How do they not understand that? Oh my gosh, it's like the scariest thing ever. So that is like number one. And I think what I'm really proud of for the Earth Altar brand that I've created is that every artist who's gone through my apprenticeship or learned at my shop, I mean, if they learned at my shop, I was teaching them, but they uphold the Earth Altar standard of cleanliness and better than hospital hygiene. And I think that is one of the most crucial and important parts of your tattoo education, is fully understanding that and being able to learn it in a way that makes sense. You can apply it, and there's a system to it. And that will take you very far in your career. And people will also really trust that in you and love that about you and want to keep coming back to you because they only trust you to be that clean with tattooing them. I've noticed that with a lot of the apprentices that I've taught, is they will go out into the world and they'll see people tattooing at pop-ups and guest spaces they're at, or different shops they go work at, or artists they collaborate with, and they're shocked by the fact that these artists are completely oblivious to the fact that they're cross-contaminating all kinds of stuff. So I just want you to be aware that that's like a really huge thing, and that's why I love the hybrid model. So that's the one I recommend the most. That's the one I teach. And if you are interested in learning about like how you can find the best path for you, I have a free guide for aspiring tattoo apprentices or people that just want to learn to become or know how to tattoo, become tattooers or know how to tattoo. So this free guide is available for you, linked here and somewhere here, right? And you're going to be able to read through these like main crucial things that I think are going to really help you understand if this is the right path for you, what you need to do to prep for it, and if you're ready for it. Another thing I have is a tattoo. It's like really made for the aspiring tattooer. It's an activation toolkit. It's got so many resources in it. It's got like a whole list of all the things I use and buy, materials and supplies, and some bits of my teachings from my apprenticeship in bloodborne pathogens control, and we'll give you even a deeper dive into it, and that's only $1 or whatever you want to donate to that. So free guide, activation kit, both toolkits, really supportive for you. Okay, type 1 is a traditional apprenticeship. Let's go into that in more detail. Now, you can see that I made this chart, and it's going to break down the most basic things. A lot of them are going to be like repeating some things, so I'm going to keep it real simple. We're going to run through them because I want you to get the overview and understanding in the most efficient way of what apprenticeship type could be ideal for you. The first type is a traditional apprenticeship. The cost for this one is basically free. This is a free apprenticeship. Of course, there are hidden costs, and we're going to talk about those. Now, the traditional apprenticeships, they go from 1 to 5+ years. Sometimes there's no end in sight. It's a bit unclear with these. That's part of the hidden cost, is that you don't know the timeline, that you might be working there for free, but what that really means is that you're doing a work trade. And work trade means that you are obligated to be at the tattoo studio 24/7. Basically, at the beck and call of your mentor and whatever they expect of you. Now, that is definitely not accessible to many people, right? Because you have to work to survive. And this is why a lot of people drop out of normal apprenticeships, traditional apprenticeships, because it's just not sustainable. Like, how are you going to get through an apprenticeship when you have to work and you also have to be there 24/7 or whenever they're open, full days? So it causes a lot of burnout, which is one of the main causes of quitting these or not being able to complete one. And what I found in doing my research is that actually free apprenticeships require you to have saved this, whatever the duration of the apprenticeship is, even though it's unclear, you're going to need to have this amount of income, a year to 5 years of income saved so you can live off of that while you're working for free 24/7, trading your labor for the education. So not very accessible unless you get to live with someone who can take care of you, which should be awesome, right? And then it would work really well. Or if you're younger and you're able to live with your family or friends or guardians, whoever, to help you move through this education phase. So that could work. So I guess there's some pros and cons. That could be pros and cons for different people at different times in their lives. So I hope this really helps you as we break all these things down. One of the general outcomes of a traditional apprenticeship is that if you get out of this and you don't want to work at that shop or with that mentor, you are going to then need to go find another place to work or open your own studio. Now, will you be ready for that? Will your mentor have given you everything you need within the time you were able to work for free to be able to go and get that job at a different place or open your own studio? Are you sure that you're going to have access to all the information? Nothing's going to be gate kept. You're not going to be doing a bunch of busy work, which you're probably going to be doing a lot of busy work, and a lot of things are probably going to be gate kept from you because they need you to work trade for them as long as possible, because that's a really good deal for a mentor. And it's a good deal for them too if they postpone your finishing of your apprenticeship, so they get, of course, your support longer. Another thing is that traditional tattoo apprenticeships usually occur within traditional tattoo studios. Traditional tattoo studios generally don't allow apprentices to be able to grow to their fullest capacity because they need them to do kind of the grunt work or the cheaper walk-in tattoos that the older artists or more experienced artists don't want to do. So that's one of the cons for it, and that there may be a lack of structure, or they may not know how to teach you or want to teach you. And mostly they might be entering into this agreement with you to teach you so that they could get the work trade from you for as long as possible. It's kind of a tricky thing. So having a clear conversation in the beginning of your apprenticeship can really help with a lot of this. So there's a lot more to this, and you can definitely, I have a lot more information of this in my free aspiring tattoo masterclass, which you can get in the link here. But if you want me to go in more detail on all of this, definitely go watch the masterclass, because you're going to learn a lot about all of this. And I do some more charts on there and like how much you can make as a tattoo artist and things like that, and more of like red flags and green flags, although I'll be making another video on that. But go watch the masterclass. I think it'll really support you. Now let's talk about the next kind. Type 2 is a paid apprenticeship. A paid apprenticeship is where you pay I've seen $5,000 to $56,000 for an apprenticeship, and you are paying to learn. But although there may not be structure, there may be structure. I've seen this one for the $56,000 program. There was structure, and it lasted, I think, about 2 years. And the other kinds of apprenticeship, I mean, mine was like $7,000. I paid 2 different mentors, and it was also work trade. And I also worked a few hours a week at the shop at the front desk too. So I had a combo of like all of these, and that is actually what number 3 is. Type 3 is a combination apprenticeship of 1 and 2. It's the same. The length of time, the costs, except that it's not free. It's partially work trade and partially you have to pay. That's what my apprenticeship was. So basically the outcome could be the same. You don't know what the ultimate outcome could be. You could have a lot of gaps in your apprenticeship and your understanding of everything. And the pros and cons are going to be essentially the same in either case, because you can learn to tattoo in a traditional apprenticeship or a paid apprenticeship in the same place, in the same style, from the same people or types of people. And it's not, I mean, you don't know what you're going to get. So essentially, it's the same thing. And so they can last as long as the mentor wants them to last. And there can be no end in sight, which was frustrating for me. And I was also just out of art school, so I was really used to a lot of structure. And these don't have much structure. Not much structure. And so you can come out of a paid or a free or a combination apprenticeship with mediocre education. There's a lot of tattoo artists that are teaching what they learned, and there were holes in their education, gaps that they didn't fill, and they don't know how to teach. And they may be amazing artists, but they may not be great teachers. So you risk getting out of your apprenticeship, investing a ton of time, a ton of money and energy, and emotional energy too, feeling drained at the end of this, like with not a proper amount of education too. So the pros of this is that it might be more doable, accessible for you to start with a free apprenticeship and get some experience. And this is going to tie into one of our apprenticeship options down here. So, you know, we can go into more of that in just a moment. The next kind is number 4, and this is a studio run kind of apprenticeship. I've sort of seen this style occur, and I think every shop who does this or offers this really is making up the rules however they want to. And what I notice from these, generally, they are early tattooers just teaching their friends or maybe charging some people a little bit here and there. They're really inexpensive, and I think they cause a lot of gaps because they're new tattooers teaching, generally, like a group of different tattooers, maybe a collective, who just don't really have a lot of experience and know what they're doing. So there's risks in that. Now, this is a little bit collaborative-y. This is like a lot of younger artists will pull together some education to teach their friends, or to maybe charge like a few $1,000s, maybe $1,000 to $2,000. I don't know. They totally vary shop to shop, or artist to artist, or group to group. So there's a lot of flexibility in these, but I hope this gives you some understanding. So the problem with these is that they're usually younger artists, early in their career artists with not much experience. Love my writing, right? Not much experience. And you can, of course, then come out of your apprenticeship with gaps as well. Now, let's go into the next version. This is number 5, and it is a tattoo school. So a tattoo school can last anywhere from, like, it could be a 3-month program, it could be 6-month, it could be 12-month. There's so many different kinds, and there's so many in every state and everywhere. And what I hear, generally they're like $6,000 to $15,000 and maybe more. This one, you're not going to come out of with many gaps in your education and understanding, which is really cool. That's a pro. So I like that. I like structure. I like that there's a clear timeline. They're usually very clear with, like, this is the beginning, this is the end. Here's a textbook. Here's documents of, like, everything. You're going to get a certificate. Now, the thing is that in the tattoo industry, in this world, it is kind of the Wild West, and certificates really mean nothing. I think they're fun. I give a certificate just to really honor the hard work that my apprentices have gone through, and it helps to initiate them into the next level, but they truly are for fun. With a tattoo school, you may have heard this. They do not hold a very good reputation. They're kind of a one-size-fits-all. You are learning from sort of generalist tattooers that don't really specialize in anything. It's sort of like, can you get a job anywhere at a reputable shop telling them you've gone to tattoo school? Maybe. Generally, not so much. And that, I think, is a big con, and why people don't value them. But could be cool because you do get structure. Number 6 is an online only apprenticeship. This is like where you go on someone's website and they're selling courses, and they're like, I can teach you to tattoo. This is the full apprenticeship course. This could be like $3,000. It could be $6,000. I mean, they really vary. You could even probably find one for $1,000. There's a lot of cons to this as well. There's some pros as well. So things to look into. Let's dive into that. There is a lot of this now. Since COVID, a lot of artists turn to educating, teaching what they know online. Now, when I say an online apprenticeship, this is really like the basics. Like, you're going to go from 0 to 10, be like pro level ready. But the thing is that many tattoo programs online are just teaching like one skill for this or one skill for this. And you're not really getting the full understanding of how to accomplish these different types of tattooing. And how are you going to learn everything you need through an online apprenticeship if you were working on skin? It's like going to a doctor who went to medical school only online and never did any internship and practice on any physical human being's body. Like, I don't want someone sewing me up or doing a surgery on me who's never practiced or witnessed any of that in real life. Like, so that's a major con. Although a pro is that we get some structure, and we might pay a chunk, but we're going to have maybe some clear understanding of what we're going to get at the end of this. The quality is not guaranteed as well. The cool thing is you can rewatch most online programs. You can slow things down. You can replay. I love that. And that's why I incorporated a bit of online into my education program too. So there's things I like about it. And of course there's cons to everything, but let's move on to the next one. Number 7, this is the hybrid tattoo apprenticeship. I'm going to go into detail on this one. This is the one I teach. This is the one I like the most, but there's cons to it too, and it's definitely not for everyone, and let's go into that. So in a hybrid, this is going to be on your time. Your time. An online apprenticeship is your time. Tattoo school can be faster than any of these, and studio run is just so variable. Like, I have no idea. There's just so many options there. So the hybrid model is so cool because you get to have online, you get to have a curriculum that you can rewatch over and over. So there's a lot of good structure. And then you also get in-person intensives and mentorship. So this is kind of like the best of all the worlds. And these can be, you know, any price. But I think a good one is going to be at least $12,000 to $15,000 and up if you're going to do in-person intensives, like one-on-ones with your mentor, and really get a lot of good mentorship with your online curriculum that you can play over and over again. That's probably the best. Now, the con with a hybrid is that it's not a good fit for everyone. And who it's not a good fit for are people who don't want to do this seriously, who know they just sort of want to know the basics, or they're not sure that learning tattooing is going to be for them. So they're more interested in something free or maybe a lower cost option because they're not so sure that this is going to be the right path for them, and they'll just take something cheap, maybe an online quickie program, and not really care about building up their portfolio or having building a clientele. And having something also to consider is like who you choose as a mentor matters a lot to your career as you go on, because it's like your lineage, your tattoo ancestry lineage. Like, who were you taught under? Where did your education come from? And if I met a girl once who came to me and she was looking for information to learn things because she had an apprenticeship with a guy, a tattooer, who has like the worst reputation ever. I had actually not heard of him, but she was telling me that she couldn't get a job anywhere because when she told them where she learned and apprenticed and worked, they were like, nah, we're good. We're not hiring anyone right now. And she kept getting turned down. So I offered to teach her and mentor her to help give her a fresh start. She didn't take me up on it, so I wish her the best of luck. But just to give you an understanding of like who you're mentoring under matters. That's why the tattoo school's kind of frowned on, because who are you learning under? No one really, just a tattoo school or just an online program. Number 8 is a self-taught informal apprenticeship. Good thing about these is that you get to go on your own time again, so you can really make it up as you go. But the cons are extreme in this one and really can hurt you in the long run of your tattoo career. So let's dive into the basics of those. Now, number 8 is also a bit frowned on, but this one is a self-taught pathway. And I have heard of like one artist that is a beautiful tattooer, does like full body geometric work, and he's totally self-taught. The problem with this, of course, these are free, or you're gonna be learning with very expensive mistakes, and those expensive mistakes can cause infections and cross-contamination and diseases for you, your clients, and your family. Not good at all. Okay, not a good way to start out a professional career in tattooing. This is going to give you a bad reputation super fast. People are not going to trust you, and you just don't really know what you're doing. If you have no one calling you out, helping you see where you're doing something incorrect, or I can't tell you how many apprentices, like every apprentice will touch something incorrectly at least once, right, in their apprenticeship, and not see it. And I catch it, thank God, because something they touch could be so detrimental to the health of everyone. Like, I had an apprentice grab the roll of bandages with bloody, inky gloves, not thinking, because she was so, like, we're a little nervous when we're learning to tattoo, but she touched this, I caught it, thank God, and we were able to not cross-contaminate that bandage roll to anyone, and we just threw it away and opened a new package with new gloves, for example. Okay, so self-taught is not always the best and is going to cost you in very, very many mistakes. The other part of this is that because you have no mentorship, a lot of people won't respect you and won't want to give you a job at their studio, won't trust you when you open your own studio. And if you want to go into an apprenticeship model, a lot of times this closes the door for you. Now, with me, I can teach you from scratch. I can teach you from being self-taught. I can teach you from any one of these levels and start you fresh and right where you are, because I do such close one-on-one mentorship. So we're on to number 9. Number 9, we made it to the end. This is the type of apprenticeship experience that is like pieced together, patched together. It's really put together in your own way. Maybe you learn in multiple different ways. Maybe you try a traditional apprenticeship and then have to drop out, and then so you learn from a different kind of mentor, or you take some online courses, or you take some in-person intensives, or maybe you can then after that, then you do more of a self-taught method, which could work better because then you understand what you're looking at and how to improve, and you understand the basics, so things make a little more sense, and you kind of piece your education together in various ways. So that's like the multi-pathway to learning tattooing. Of course, there's so many ways, and if you know of more, put it in the comment section. Let's dive into some more details about this. This is the multi-pathway, and this is usually the path that many artists will take when they try self-teaching, or they try a traditional apprenticeship and it doesn't work for them, or they try some version of the combo and it doesn't work, or this was like kind of pathetic and mediocre and they didn't get what they needed, so they need something more substantial and structured. And so they start to weave their own path and make their own way. And this is an interesting approach, and you can go this route if you choose, or maybe you're already on this pathway. If you're already on this pathway and you're looking for guidance, you're looking for someone to give you some intensive, like one-on-one support, definitely contact me, because I may be able to help you and get you like tighten up your skills and really know where your strengths and weaknesses are and where you can work on certain things and get you up and running. So ultimately the goal is that you are done with your in-person training, you feel confident in what you create on skin, and you understand bloodborne pathogens, and you are ready to get out there in the world and confidently open your own studio and work on clients privately or in a studio setting, feeling so professional and that you understand the basics and beyond, and you are known for your style right from the get-go. I do things very differently. So if this sounds of any interest to you, contact me, and also check out that masterclass. The next video I'm gonna make is all about the red flags and green flags that you can anticipate or notice before you go into an apprenticeship, and what to look out for. So be sure to watch that next video. And also in this video, I would love for you to take a moment and write in the comments and let me know which number type of apprenticeship like sounds the best to you. I would love to know. Or maybe if you're watching this and you had an apprenticeship, maybe you dropped out of one or it just didn't feel right, so you quit. Let me know in the comments which one you experienced and what you feel about it. Let's start a dialogue. I want to hear about your apprenticeship experiences, what you're finding is available out there, and if there's any way I can help guide you to feel support in and supported in helping to guide you to make the best decision for yourself. I am here for you and always available to answer your questions. And of course, you can always email me directly at justine@earthaltarstudio.com. I'm here for you, and I look forward to talking to you and seeing what you write in the comments. Share this with anyone you know who's been wanting to learn to tattoo and might want some support in that. I'm here. Okay. Thanks for watching.